Radio.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangade. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Yes, we do want to talk to you. I'm Naima Latif, and you're watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. We are live on the on-air radio network, and we're going to come right back in just a moment with our co-host, Kareem Hamid. And today our Blog Talk studio is down, but that's okay because we are live on the on-air radio network, and we have an exciting guest for you. We know we've had some drama going on in America, all surrounding this election and what appears to be assassination attempts and switches of candidates. And we've had all kinds of drama that has happened over the last many years. How much of it is deception? Well, we've got a guest today, author, public speaker, and someone who is throwing a little bit of agitation into things by raising the question. And we're going to look at his book, Deception, a Threat to Democracy? Deal with it. Well, he'll be joining us in just one moment. We'll be right back after this quick pause. And we'll be joined by our co-host, right there waiting in the wings, Kareem Hamid, who's joining us live visually today. We're so grateful. And we'll be right back after this quick break. So we want you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. And you can feel free to call in as always. And you can reach us at 515. I'm sorry. Today, you'll have to reach us at 727-731-5192 because we want to hear from you. And we'll be right back after these brief messages. So stay with us.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating, empowering, interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you. And if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Yes, you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money. Well, we want you to be able to sit back and relax at home while you enjoy and participate in a conversation. We're going to bring in our co-host. And as always, we appreciate you for adding your wisdom to this discussion. And this is none other than our dear brother, Kareem Hamid. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Naima. Praise be to Allah. It's good to see you.
Yes, well, I'm grateful that you are joining us today. Oh, looks like I've got all my guests here lined up. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We're going to have a fantastic show. Because today we want to ask a question, especially because there's going to be a whole lot of drama going on. And we want to believe that we live in a nation where there's a democracy and we're actually making decisions and we're actually electing the people that govern us. But there's a lot of deception going on. And our dear brother has written a book about it. And we are excited because we get an opportunity to examine some of those issues that will enable us to really think about whether or not what we're seeing is reality. We have been in the midst of what some people call a plandemic. for the last several years. And we have also been frightened into the idea that people are now shooting at candidates who are running for office. We've had some real assassinations, but then we've also had some things happen that are upsetting. And sometimes they push us to the point of fear where we're willing to accept almost a repression type of action from our government. Are we being deceived? Well, this book, Deception, A Threat to Democracy, Deal With It by Leonard MP Kayiwa, it's going to raise some questions and cause us to think. So we want to bring him on and his lovely wife. And we greet you this morning, my brother, Bishop Leonard Kayiwa. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
And please introduce us to your beautiful wife.
This is Dr. Gail Kayiwa.
Dr. Gail Kayiwa.
Yes. In fact, she's our degrees. The first one was in sociology, and what?
Anthropology.
And then the master is in urban planning and something.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has a doctorate in theology. This is her here. She helps me write these books.
Brilliant. Well, I know how that partnership is. Me and my husband, we wrote a number of books together, and we know how that mind meld is when you combine both brilliant seeds of the male and female. So we're grateful that you're joining us today, and later on we'll be joined by Political Analyst Lionel Nixon, who's going to give us some insight about a lot of these upheavals, especially with our migrants coming from distressed countries. And what's that really all about? What's really going on with that? So we'll be joined by him and the top of the hour. But we want to take a look at this book, because many of us in the mass media, we get goaded into putting out information, believing that it's true, but it may not be. First, let me ask, what motivated you to write this book?
I'm Bishop Leonard Kayiwa, originally from Uganda, East Africa. Now, there is a time in our country where we nearly lost our democracy. That was 1971. We lost the democracy, really, because when Idi Amin came in power with his henchmen, they quickly took away the right to vote from the citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And as you are aware, even when you look at other countries like German, you see Hitler, his activities, to a great degree, they had suppressed the right of the people to freely participate into the electoral process of that country. You see the same thing in China. You see that China moved to a place where there's no freedom of speech. You don't have freedom of worship, and it became some kind of a society that has suppressed dissent and all that. Now, living under the regime of Idi Amin, by then I was a student. I was a student at St. Mary's College, busy collecting knowledge, desiring to reach the greater horizons, as the motto of that school was, for greater horizons. I was able to see and feel the anxiety and hopelessness, which came in when people's right to participate in the governance of the country was taken away. You know, democracy is a system of governance whereby everyone is given an opportunity to bring their gift, their talent, their thought to the table in order to frame the country or to frame the system that would work for everybody. Let me put it in another simple way, because those are many of the things I discuss in this book. Democracy is like when you come at the lights, you know, the stoplights. The stoplights are put together by the people. The people, democracy is a governance by the people, for the people, of the people. They are put together for the safety of all, that everyone who is traveling on the road may meet their destiny. When you come at the lights, you can't say, oh, because I'm a Christian, I should just drive through, even if it's a red light. Or because I'm a Muslim, I'll just drive through. Or because I don't even believe in the light, I'll just drive and do everything which I want. No. The system is put there regardless of somebody's economic status or beliefs, to enable people to peacefully and healthily achieve their goals. So I was in a situation where democracy was lost. And now we have, I'm in America, the United States of America, and I've been hearing conspiracy theories and the disinformation, and that's part of what even caused what happened that time, and what has happened in countries like Russia, China, Germany. So as a pastor, I felt the need to educate people. People are not necessarily bad, but they need information to educate them to deal with deception. Because if they let everything they hear just come and settle into their lives, then they will make wrong decisions. And when they make wrong decisions without the truth, you know, the truth is the real weapon against deception. If they don't make proper informed decisions, then they are going to drive the nation and the other nations which have democracy into a place where people make bad choices and end up losing freedom of worship, rights to vote, and so many other things will go away. Let me stop it a bit there, because I know you want to ask me a question.
Yes, and of course, we want to get some thoughts from our co-host Kareem Hamid as well. Now, I'm going to throw out a few things that I've observed, because in America we like to believe that there is freedom of choice of various things, and we like to believe we have the rights to vote and we have the freedoms to choose what we want. But what we actually have here is a major system of deception that comes through the mass media. We are conditioned to react, and we will willingly give away our power based on the fear that's induced from information that comes through the media. So this is how the mind control system works here, giving us the impression of freedom, but we're being conditioned to respond, so we don't have to be told what to do. We're brainwashed into doing exactly what it is that those who want to keep us under control want us to do. And I'm just going to throw this out here, even though it's always been a controversy.
Can I say something a little bit there,
Yes.
my society, because you have brought out something very important. Remember, I come from another country. I come from Africa. I come from Uganda. Now,
Yes.
Uganda has democracy. I studied in China for 4 years. I did engineering in Ohio University. I
Mhm.
speak Chinese. Well, which was
Ah,
I'm speaking Chinese to you. Now, look.
你好吗？
How. So I lived in China. I've lived in Africa, and I'm here in America.
Yes.
This is what it is, and no wonder you ask me what motivated you to write this book. Right now, as we talk, America, you have a system which gives you a platform to work with. What deception does is to not let you utilize your judgment. Remember, deception,
Absolutely.
what deception does, it compromises the judgment of a person because it's built on lies. If I come to you and I say, because you are a woman, you should not vote. Remember, they never used to vote,
Right.
regardless of their race. What was that? It was deception. Somebody was trying to lie to somebody to push them off the table. Now, some of the things you are talking about, which I had to address in this book, are those, because misinformation and disinformation and conspiracy theory, they are intended to render you powerless so that you may not believe in yourself, so that you may not go and vote, so that you may not participate in the electoral process of the nation. With America, you have that opportunity. Other countries don't have that. You have that opportunity, and I hope many other people from other countries are watching, and you have to use it. That's what I'm saying in this book. I'm saying that, look, vote, listen, don't accept spam, don't expect bad stuff, and push them away. Hold on the truth. Work with the truth. Don't let anything try to tell you that no, you cannot govern because you are a man of this. You cannot do this because you are of a different religion or whatever. No, democracy levels the ground. In democracy, recognizes that every individual, irrespective of their faith, contributes to the success of the nation because every person is a taxpayer. When you are paying tax, we don't ask you which religion you are, whether you're a female or a man. We need your resources to make the country work.
Right.
The country to work, it needs you. That's the voice of democracy. Democracy says, I need you, I need your talent. And that's what has made this country very powerful. And that's why I had to write this book, because there are many nations, plus America, if they take this for granted, they can lose it. And if they lose it, we get a totalitarian government, we get fascism, we get dictators, we get a group of people who are saying that when they come to the light, even if they see it red, they drive through. And the problem is, if they drive through the light, they cause accident. If they mismanage the rules which have been put together by the people, for the people of the people, to help them live healthy lives, they will cause an accident at the signal lights, at the crossroads. They will either be killed or get somebody killed. Nobody will survive this. That's why the politicians of today, who don't know how to control their tongue, they are inciting violence, and the violence will come back to them and destroy them. You talked about
this
and so that is incited violence. That is the abuse of the system.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the point that we hope people can understand, that they are being manipulated into fear-based reactions, especially with this pitting of sides against each other. And because of your experience in Uganda, you see the difference between a government that will allow citizens to participate and one in which it was a clear authoritarian rule. Look, I run this. I'm telling you what to do. You don't disobey, and that's it. There is a difference. However, here, if people can be induced to fear, then they will react in a certain way, and then that will bring upon them perhaps, because we had, I think, Kareem, if correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was during, well, I know in Chicago we had breakdown of order when people started to get frustrated because they were locked down because of COVID, and then you had young people that were just senseless chaos and vandalism, and so there was a curfew imposed, and more than 10 people couldn't gather in a public place at a time, or they could be arrested. And so this happened as a result of the, like you say, people not following the rules and misbehaving, and then the fear that people aren't going to manage themselves made people agree to the kind of a lockdown and control of their behavior, because what happens is they end up believing that it's necessary because they fear the behavior of other people. And that's how we end up going from what could be a democracy to totalitarianism or authoritarianism, military rule, because people fear the misbehavior of other people, so they will agree to let the government control everybody. And that's what could happen if there is a predicted chaos after this upcoming election. Everybody's saying, well, my guy doesn't win and my woman doesn't win, whatever, then we're going to riot, or we're going to know they cheated. And then all you need is for people to misbehave and other people to get frightened because, oh, they're stockpiling weapons, so we need to have more police out here on the streets. That's what I see us getting ready to fall for. The belief that if these other people win, then we got to fear because they're stockpiling weapons and we're not safe, so we need the government to bring in the military to crack down. And next thing you know, we've given away our power because we've been...
Can I say something a little bit more? Let me say something small. In my book here, which I'm holding, there are 3 topics. In fact, somebody spoke to me and said, Bishop, most of the time when you write books, you are talking about to do with God and so on. But how comes you wrote a book of this kind? I mean, how can you write a book like this? I mean, the first book says, democracy, a gift to humanity. What is it? The second one says, what is this thing? Deception. The third one says, deal with deception now. Now, I want to say something along what you have just said. Remember, deception can be very tricky, very, very tricky, because it promises something. A deceiver will promise you something. The way how we end all these dictators, Hitler got a lot of his people killed, promising them great stuff. You are going to get nations. You are going to rule over them. We are superior over everybody. We are the most intelligent people. Nobody can stand up. And they ended up in dishonorable graves, you know. Now, look, a deceiver or deception will always try to promise you something. People like scammers, they promise you if you click here, you are going to become a millionaire. If you do this, you know, that's why the computer, you click something and the virus comes in. The deceiver will put a promise. But the way to beat that is the truth. That's why we are writing these books, to try to explain to you what it is about. Because if the voter, which is you, does not understand that is the custodian of democracy, and he thinks that the politician or somebody there it's a mistake. The real custodian of democracy is you and me. We are the voters. We are the legislators to some degree. We are the judges. We are the one who hear the argument and make a decision. A country like America, the most powerful country on the earth, has that platform. Most of the countries have lost that platform. You see what is going on in Russia, dissent. Who is killing the people in Ukraine? Is it the Russian people? No. It is a group of people who usurped power over them, and they are sending their sons and daughters on the front line to die like that because the people have no voice. If the people, the collective people, democracy is built on collective trust in humanity, that humanity was given a conscience by God Almighty, made in the image of God, to be able to tell between right and wrong. And we have found out that when you involve a big pool of people, the Bible says in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. When you allow people to have a say, men and women of all kind, regardless of their status in the economy, when you allow them to bring their ideas on the table, you will find something good out of them. Yes, that's how it works. That's how it's going to work now. I see, and I have great faith in God that we're going to get this to work.
Now that's a key thing. We got to take a break and want to say good morning to Delame Smith, who has joined us on our Facebook and YouTube channel. And of course, if you are watching, feel free to write in your comments. Let me ask this question before we take a break. Do you believe that we are being discouraged from voting because we are believing that both sides are really the same thing and we don't believe there is a viable choice? That's what a lot of young people are saying. They're saying, why vote? It doesn't matter. They're all the same. They don't care about me. And so they're choosing not to participate in the selection of the people who we're actually paying with our tax dollars to manage our resources. They're choosing not to participate, which then in fact causes us to end up with something we don't want, which is generally someone who doesn't work in our best interest. But do you think we're being discouraged because we're just not seeing a clear way that we impact the decisions that are being made by the government? We're going to take a quick break and come back with that and get a response from our co-host, Kareem Hamid. And of course, if you're listening online and want to, well, of course, if you're watching us and want to participate in the conversation, our Blog Talk channel is down. Of course, we're always on air everywhere, online all the time. So you can call in at 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you. Please keep your phone on mute until we call you, because we want to make sure you don't get any background noise. And we'll be right back with Bishop Leonard Kayiwa and the book, Deception, A Threat to Democracy. Deal with it. And we're going to talk about your upcoming event after this break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be right back in a moment. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
Hi, this is John Alexander.
And I'm Naima Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world.
Big difference.
Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/The Media Connection TV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating, empowering, interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, health and well-being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you.
And we are back. You are watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, along with our co-host Kareem Hamid. And our Blog Talk listeners are not with us, but you can join us live on the On Air Radio Network. And of course, that is 727-731-5192. Call in with your comments. Our guest today is Bishop Leonard Kayiwa, and he is author of the book Deception, A Threat to Democracy. Deal with it. And he'll be having an event coming up. We'll talk about that in just a moment. You know, one of the things that we have talked about on this show is how if people are able to connect with their divine self and be the kind of human beings that cause no harm, we can solve all our problems. And that's really what all of us are trying to do, and sharing our wisdom, our understanding. So, Brother Kareem, you know, we are going through a lot of drama here in America. And a lot of times people say, this is the greatest country in the world. But there's a lot of violence that happens here, and a lot of fear-based violence, and a lot of reactionary violence. We've had major things that have happened in our cities with young people committing acts of violence. Not just young people, but people tend to react when young people do things violently because they feel like, oh, we lost control of them. And so that's why they agree to curfews, to lockdowns, to all kinds of things, because they feel like you need to establish some type of control when people get out of control. So what has been your experience with people who are afraid of, say, the Republicans getting in office and believing that's going to lead to martial law, crackdown, dictatorship, and all these things, the fear-based propaganda that both sides are engaging in? How do you see that affecting how people behave toward one another, treat each other, cooperate with each other, or perhaps not, based on their fear?
Him?
Yes.
Kareem Hamid, yes.
Yes. Everything that, first off, I greet you with the greetings of peace, my beloved brother and your wonderful wife. Praise be to God. You know, that is the missing ingredient. Praise be to God. That is the missing ingredient. God-conscious people. You know, everything that you have described in the description of totalitarian governments, as a people in this country, we have experienced those same exact things. You know, this country likes to propagate the idea that it is a government of fairness, of fidelity toward its citizens, but we bear witness that the strongest motivation moving this country forward by way of democratic freedom has been the population of the African Americans in this country. We have been denied all of those laudable attributes that this country espouses and identifies itself as. You're talking about oppression. We were physically oppressed, physically killed, with no court to seek justice. So the struggle for freedom and democracy, if we look at our condition in this country and listen to the best among us, then we know what totalitarianism looks like. We know what it feels like. We have experienced it. We have lived it. And I recognize now, I mean, even at this present state that we're in as a country, we are losing the freedom of speech. There has been no, it's not unspoken. There has been a statement coming from the powers that be: do not use the word ceasefire. Do not mention Palestine. The protest across the college campuses and the cities of this country and the world are against the genocide that is occurring in occupied Palestine. So, and our press is in collusion with the powers that be. They are not giving us the full information. An uninformed citizenry is a danger. It's a danger. Transparency is the engine that moves us toward freedom. So what you are speaking of has always existed in this country. It touts itself as a beacon of freedom. But we bear witness that they have been hypocritical. They have been lying to the world concerning their ideals of democracy and freedom and fair play. We are the victims of this country. So we know what oppression looks like. We know what it feels like. No doubt about that. So, how can I put it? Yes, that what you are bringing is no more than what we have lived. Deception, a threat to democracy. Deal with it. So, every facet of totalitarianism we have suffered in this country, and we're still going through it. No doubt about that. Information has become weaponized. And it is only through social media that we get to really talk to one another in real time and compare opinions with each other. The internet has been a boon for freedom of expression and the exchange of ideas. So I don't fear the loss of democracy. We've never had it.
Ooh.
We have never had it. We are the engine. We are the engine that is moving the United States to its pinnacle of its promises.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. We are the engine. There's war going on in the center of the continent of Africa, in Sudan, the largest misplacement of human beings in the history of the world.
Mm.
And no one is covering it. It's not even mentioned. So sometimes even the absence of information is a weapon. I plan to highlight tomorrow on my radio platform what is occurring in Sudan.
And give us the time and where people can tune in.
Oh, it is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on American Muslim 360. The phone number is 515-605-9891.
And we'll put that on the screen to remind.
Publicize what is occurring in Sudan. But we don't hear that we don't have a free press. We don't have a free press. All of those things that you are warning us about have always existed in this country.
That's
It
true.
is a hypocritical, you know, we don't want our country to be seen as hypocrites. So we are moving the country forward. We are the engine of obtaining a true, real democracy.
Absolutely.
The will of the people, for the people, by the people, and your book will help in that effort. A deception, a threat to democracy. Deal with it. So let us deal with what already exists, accept what is happening, what we have lived, and gird our loins to continue to move, not just this country, the world.
Yes, yes. And I like what you said about social media, because that really does represent the true free press. We can talk direct to each other as we're doing now. And as you're mentioning Sudan, a lot of people are like, oh, what's happening in Sudan? They heard nothing. So we must then seize the power that we have and talk to each other and talk about these things that aren't being spoken of in our media systems that we've conditioned to rely upon, the large networks that define what we see and hear and define reality by the news that they put out. We have to be the new press, the new free press, so that we can see what is happening. And like Brother Kareem mentioned, you know, when it comes to the promise of democracy, this country was built on slave labor based on oppression of a large group of people, forced work at gunpoint, murdered if we tried to escape. And those who were so-called, you know, good whites who would have said, well, it's terrible to treat a human being that way, they were brainwashed with fear of us, fear from propaganda, being told these people are violent, these people are dangerous, these people are childlike, they have to be controlled because they're underdeveloped, they're not as intelligent. They were brainwashed with that thinking, and that undercurrent exists to this day.
Right now.
Which is why there's so much upheaval about a black president when Barack Obama won, and
look at how he was treated. Look at how he was caricatured.
Yes.
Look at how he was treated. Let me say something. This democracy is a human experiment. It is not permanent. It is an experiment to see, can individuals govern themselves absent of a dictator or someone controlling them. I can't think of the person's name. It may have been Thomas Jefferson or whatever, but he congratulated this country on its democracy. But he added a caveat, said, if you can keep it.
And that's been the challenge. And Yvette Moyo, who's a member of the Free Press, she's a publisher of a magazine, and She says, "Amen. Social media is the true free press." Yes, and what's the magazine? You can feel free to type in the name of it. It's not coming to me right now. I don't want to say the wrong name, but yeah, she is a publisher, a person who represents those free voices in the media, and we need more of that because, as you were saying, the way we are characterized. They had this cartoon of Michelle Obama wearing an afro and wearing, I think, army fatigues or something. I think it came in, was it Time magazine or something?
Yeah, it was Time.
And the image was, she's radical.
She's a terrorist.
She's a terrorist.
We're talking about the first lady of the nation. The first lady, the female.
So a hairdo can frighten people. When we stop pressing our hair, which meant, okay, we're not trying to look like you, we're gonna wear our hair natural. That frightened whites who had been believing and been brainwashed to believe that unless they can control how we think and keep us admiring and seeking to emulate them and keep us subservient, we would be out of control and take over and all of that, all fear-based thinking. So that repression that this country inflicted, it was based on fear, and that's what they're being now inflicted with. All of those people, those radicals, those liberals, if they take over, we're gonna lose our country and all of that. And then on the flip side, we're being manipulated into believing that, well, if those other people, those conservatives, if they take over, they're gonna take over and destroy our freedoms. So we have this fear-based instigation going on where both sides are raising the level of fear and panic, and might respond in such a way where people will start to believe, well, maybe we need more police control because that other side is out of control. And that's where you end up losing your democracy, because you have people who, like you said, Bishop, they can't trust each other. So they can't work together and cooperate. So you end up relying on a dictator to bring back order because you believe that's what you need, because you don't believe you have the power, like you're saying, Kareem, to govern yourself.
The most important part of, yes, I'll be very brief. The most important part of politics, all politics, is local. Every 4 years, we get afraid of who's going to be sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. One man caused all of us to shiver in our boots. But I live in a community. I have neighbors. I have to be concerned about my neighbor, concerned about the communities that we live in. And we can begin there. That is where the solution lies, right in we the people, the individual. But the individual can only make intelligent choices if they are properly informed, if they're properly educated. Education, I'm not talking about just academia. Education goes beyond just reading, writing, and arithmetic. The presence of the mind, the consciousness, the God consciousness of right and wrong. We need more people to be God conscious. We have seen a falling away from the life of faith. From the life of our churches are almost empty. That was by design. I won't go through the road toward that. But in Europe, churches are seen as museums. When I say conscious, I'm talking about not just I'm woke, I'm a lot. No, God consciousness. There is an authority that we must respect, and that is He who created it. Us shall govern us. I hope we come to that decision and make the wise choice.
Amen.
Yes.
Right.
Well, there's an event that
Yes.
Bishop Kayiwa is hosting, which we hope will bring forth those kind of discussions. You know, he and I are both part of a global peace organization, Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light, and they bring together people of different faiths to have discussions about issues of what their faith actually teaches, so that we can see that at the core is the same.
The same
And if we stop arguing over the little differences,
detail.
details, and
And
doctrines,
our
and
children are dying in the streets.
yes. So
People are living in tents, and we're
yes,
arguing over details, but we claim to be the people of God.
yes. So
Okay.
that's the challenge with that, and realizing that God consciousness is to be concerned about the welfare of your neighbor, no matter where they are, whether they're overseas or next door. Do they have food to eat, drinkable water, shelter? Are they in good health? How can we help? That's what God consciousness is, not the doctrine that you follow or the theology, but the way we treat our neighbors. And that if we can all be on that same page, then we can maintain a democracy. But
Yes.
Bishop, tell us about the upcoming event that you have in
Exactly. Okay. On August 11th, which is a Sunday, August 11th, 2024, next month, we are calling everyone who can to come over to Chicago Marriott O'Hare Hotel. Chicago Marriott O'Hare Hotel, which is 8535 West Higgins Road in Chicago. It's a very nice place with very nice parking. At 3 p.m. Central Standard Time in Chicago Banquet Hall. That place seats nearly 700 people. We are calling everyone who can to come, and we pray for the United States of America and the other nations to keep their democracies. Also, I'm going to have a panel of five. Will be deliberating. They will be discussing democracy, deception, and the other matters to good governance. So you'll be able to engage with them. You'll be able to ask questions. This panel will be there to deal with those areas. It's going to be very exciting, like what you see here. You'll be able to ask questions about deception, democracy, and me, myself, the author of this book, Deception, A Threat to Democracy, will be part of the panel. So I'll be willing to answer your questions. I know some of you may need to get this book as quickly as possible. The book is on Amazon.com. Amazon, Amazon.com. It's there in a digital format, paperback, $20, hardcover, $28. You can order it quickly, and the Amazon vehicle will deliver it where you are. Or you can call us on 224-440-6992. That is 224-440-6992 to order or to advise us or for any input concerning the event which is coming. You can also call us on 773-750-3662. I have a Facebook page, Bishop Leonard Kayiwa. Kayiwa is Kayiwa. Another one is Bishop Leonard Kayiwa Network. You can see updates on those Facebook on what's going on. You can even go to our website, www.ministeringtogod.com, and see the information. But we need to see you that Sunday. Now, in the morning at 10 a.m. in the same banquet hall, We are ready to pray for anybody who needs divine intervention. At 10 a.m., we will pray for people, anointing them with oil for anywhere where you need a miracle in your life. But this event, we welcome people of all kind, regardless of your beliefs or whatever. You could be there at 3 p.m. for this powerful event. Now, I wanted to make a little bit of comment about what I had, because Latif, you said some very important things. I want to make a simple comment here. Living in
before you make a comment, we're gonna take another quick break, and we'll come back, and we'll be joined by Lionel Nixon, who's a political analyst and columnist, and also has worked in various forms of government. He'll be joining us after the break, and we'll take a look at how perhaps our freedom may be taken away as the result of the international disturbances that are happening, and how it's impacting our nation here, and what it is that people are willing to allow to happen as a result of their fear. So we'll be back to get your comments and bring on political analyst Lionel Nixon. We'll be right back after this quick break. So again, stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating, empowering, interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you.
Yes, we do want to hear from you because as Yvette Moyo, publisher of the South Side Drive magazine and founder of Real Men Cook Charities, she said, amen. Social media is the true free press. And this is why we're so that we can give a voice to those who are giving real information, such as our guest here. In a moment, we're going to bring in our next guest, political analyst Lionel Nixon. Had a thought that you wanted to share with us before we bring him on?
Yeah.
Bishop Kayiwa, yes.
Yes. I wanted to say something very gracious. Hope it will settle in the hearts of the hearers. I pastored a church in Lindenhurst, Illinois, where nearly 99% people were Caucasian. They didn't look like me from outside. I lived in China, where most of the people at the university were Chinese. And I have had an opportunity to live in this country where America has the greatest diversity. You have people from everywhere: India, Pakistan, Ukraine, Russia. They are here. And I want to remind everybody here as a pastor that basically people have the same aspirations. They want to raise good families. They want their children to prosper. Every human being would like to live in a safe environment. I'm just saying the truth, which defeats deception, because deception tells you something different. In fact, the Bible makes it so simple. The Bible says God made man in his image, in his likeness. The one who signed off you when you were created, it is God. And what gives you the unusual dignity and make you so special is that God made you in his image. So having that in mind helps a little bit for us to have faith in our fellow human beings. I know there's extreme behaviors here and there, but sometimes those extreme behaviors, they come out of misinformation. That's why we have to, all of us, to participate in the electoral process of a nation. We have to vote. We have to bring our voice to the table in spite of everything negative which may be hearing, because that's what deception does. That's why God has raised a person like me to write this book, so that I may help to get people to get up and do something. That's why we say deal with it. If you don't deal, as I'm an author, I've written so many books. People try to send in emails and send texts on my phone to literally steal stuff and try to locate where I am, to try to, bad communications. But you know what I do? I block them, I remove them, I refuse to pick those bad numbers. My phone warns me, don't pick that number, it's a fraud, it's dangerous. That's why we are coming in strong to try to get the system to work. That's why a man like Martin Luther King Jr. had a message which every person of any different background, nationality, they respect, because he spoke the language of freedom, the language of liberty. He tried even to interpret your constitution, the American Constitution, when some people who could not even read what he need and do the right thing, God does send those kind of people. That's why a man like Washington, your general, our general, I'm now an American, he fought wars with others fighting along with him in order to prevent this country from being colonized. So look, we have the book, Deception, A Threat to Democracy. It's been written, my sister. People go read it. Read this book. I'm very fair and balanced in this book. I try to help because, yes.
So tell us, for people who are going to order it, can they go on Amazon, you go on your website? Tell us where they can go to order the book today.
On Amazon.com, my book is there in a digital format, hardcover, and it is also there in paperback. When you go there, you can type in "Deception, a Threat to Democracy, Deal with It," or you type in Bishop Leonard. Leonard is Leonard. Kayiwa is Kayyiwa. It is also on my website, ministeringtogod.com. They can also call us 224-440-6992. This is an American number here in Illinois. Call to order or an inquiry. You can also call 773-750-3662. You can also ask me a question. I have an email, kayiwa@yahoo.com, KAYIWA ministries@yahoo.com.
Well, thank you so very much. We appreciate you. Now we're going to bring in, yes, you made some major observations, and much of our future is going to depend on us having that spiritual perspective. But we are in fear of those who may come among us that don't speak our language, don't look like us. We have been told they're criminals and all these things. And this is what we end up reacting to. We end up reacting to people not believing they're in the image of God, but that they're something that we should fear. And so this is what we find ourselves in today across America. There are people who are coming from distress situations, yes, and their entrance into this country is going to create a reaction. It already has. So to help us take a look at this, and perhaps, and Bishop, are you able to stay with us for a little while longer? Because I'm sure Lionel has some observations about some of the things that you've stated.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, let me bring on our next guest, our dear brother, political analyst Lionel Nixon. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Female Solution Radio TV show.
Thank you.
Yes, your sound is a bit low. Let's see if we can adjust that a bit. And also, we want to remind people of where they can get this book. And right there on Amazon. One of the things that we are aware of is that many cities across America have received an inflow of immigrants, and they are fleeing, many of them fleeing Venezuela because they are being persecuted by criminal elements. And as a result of that, they've come to America believing that it is the freedom and democracy and safe place where they can receive some type of a safe haven. And yet their presence here has caused such a disturbance and fear, and might even cause some of us to lose the economic yes, absolutely, because of fear. So Lionel Nixon has been doing research. Lionel is a housing expert, and he's been doing research into the housing crisis. And then because we have so many unhoused, homeless people living on the streets, when the recent migrants came, and many of them immediately got housing, the question becomes, how is this happening and people from outside this nation can get services that people who've been struggling for decades cannot? And how is this population going to be used to further throw us into a state of fear where we end up losing again our democracy? Thank you for joining us, Lionel. Give us a bit of your insight. Lionel, we're still not able to hear you. There's still an audio issue that you have.
Well,
It's very faint. It's very faint.
can I remind people more about the book?
While you're working on that, Lionel, you want to
Bishop to tell more about the book.
we want to ask you a question. One of the things, Bishop, especially because you're going to be gathering people out at the Marriott Chicago O'Hare on Sunday, August 11th.
3 p.m.
This will be yes, at 3 p.m. This will be right before the Democratic National Convention the following week, starting August 19th.
Yes.
Through the 22nd here in Chicago. We expect a lot of protests. There are a lot of people who are upset at the Democratic Party because of its support of the military aggression from Israel. And that is a major issue. And when it comes to the protests that are expected as a result of this, what do you see as the conversation that we may be able to have regarding ceasing the aggression and reaching out in a humanitarian way to people in that region so that the spillover of the violence doesn't affect America? How should we advocate that the next leader address that situation without it being volatile or cruel and inhumane to such a degree that people become angry and reactionary? What do you see as a possibility?
The truth is, a lot of mistakes have been made out there, because when you see children murdered and you see women killed in the contest of Hamas, there's been what we call overreaction. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. So I think even it's wrong in the eyes of God. That's not how it's supposed to be done. I really think that the international community has to intervene as quickly as possible. There has to be a ceasefire in that place. Something else which I don't know how you look at it, but I thought of that Palestinians need to have its own nation. It needs to have a democracy. It needs to have its own nation where they govern themselves. What is causing a lot of outcry is the insensitivity. You cannot say that you support. You have to look at the logic of what somebody is doing. You cannot be trying to remove a virus from a human body and you cut off the human body's head. It's not logical. You cannot say that you are trying to treat cancer of the foot and you just kill a person. So I think there is an outcry which is human, and even all of us here, we have to show some kind of sympathy. I think that's a bit of what needs to be looked at, and that one needs to be ended immediately. It has to be stopped immediately. It has gone where it's not supposed to go. It is wrong. It is already wrong. I understand Israel lost people also. I understand 1,000 something at the beginning, but that does not give them the right to go and kill 20,000 people or whatever. And that does not give them the right to start calling everybody Hamas. And the weapons which are used there, it's wrong. They are used in populated areas. That is wrong. I'm talking as a human being created in the image of God with some sense. All these religious beliefs where somebody say because these people believe like this way that they have it. No. All that is wrong. So my prayer is that as people express their opinion and views, they don't become violent, because violence does not remedy violence.
Amen.
Hate does not stop hate.
Amen.
That's why I wrote this book, Deception, a Threat, Democracy. I discuss this kind of things. They're already in here. They are discussed. The reaction is wrong, and it can cause a counter reaction. So I've been praying, my sister, I've been praying that people's eyes get opened up, that somebody gets some sense. Because Jesus said this. One of the greatest teachers who has ever lived said this. Do to others what you want them to do to you.
Now that's the divine law. However, what we see happening is people using the Bible to justify the genocide. And many people who believe themselves to be God-fearing or whatever it is you want to call them, they will take the side of those who are creating the genocide and that this is what God wants, because Israel is, the Israelis are God's chosen people, and all of this deception that has been basically bred into our thinking. This is a brainwashing message that we have heard since childhood. The whole Zionist movement, the idea that God has some people that are chosen above everybody else, that's ridiculous. Nobody's chosen more than anybody else. There is no hierarchy in God's kingdom. We're all the same importance. We're all equal expressions of divine mind, divine energy, God's creation. But there are people who have really been brainwashed to believe that they must support Israel no matter what, because that's what God wants. That's what God wants. I mean, you see that insanity. And so this is where we're deadlocked. This is where we are deadlocked as a human family, that brainwashing that allows slaughter of people, and then saying that these are God's people. This is God's chosen people. And so people don't even see the hypocrisy of allowing that and making it somehow be spiritually correct. And so this is basically where we're deadlocked, even in this political election. And there's a large population that's saying, cannot support the Democratic Party as long as they're standing with a nation that will slaughter children and say that it's their divine right. So, and then you have the other side is saying, but we must support the Democrats, otherwise we're going to have that tyrant that's going to come and take away our freedom. So this is the insanity.
Let me say something a little here. When I was in Uganda during Idi Amin's time, we had a problem. Idi Amin was a Muslim. His vice president was a Muslim. Most of the ministers were Muslims. Now, but this group of Muslims were extremists. They were killing Christians, calling us infidel. So that's what deception does, which you are talking about. I don't believe that all Muslims think like that. But we had this group of Muslims through Idi Amin who took control of power and they distributed themselves everywhere, and no wonder their system collapsed. So you are right. What you are talking about, even in the Middle East, is a deception problem, where some believe because they are Israelites, they can go and kill a child and go and put a bomb on United Nations workers and go and destroy a hospital. And because they are looking for one Hamas, they have to kill 1,000 people around them. That is what deception does. Deceived. That's how it works, and it is counterproductive. If they don't collect it, they are putting themselves in a very dangerous place, because human beings can tell between right and wrong, and they can cause all of them to come on them. Like what happened in Uganda, Tanzania.
Yes, you would think that human beings would be able to tell right from wrong. This is the challenge that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had, and he wrote the book Why We Can't Wait. He wrote the book Letter from a Birmingham Jail.
Yes.
Many times, what he would say is that the problem are the so-called good Christians who will not speak up against wrong when all the slaughter and the
lynching,
the oppression and lynchings happening of Black people in this nation were going on, and the good white Christians would not speak of it, because, and even now, and whenever someone is killed, a lot of times people will come up with some kind of way to blame the person that was killed. Oh, like with Sandra Bland. Oh, well, maybe she should have been more humble to that police officer that murdered her, or that arrested her, and then somehow she was murdered, and they try to say, oh, she committed suicide. No, she didn't. But those kinds of things. Every time someone's shot to death, killed, lynched, whatever, the so-called good people, so-called good Christians, would come up with some kind of way where it was really the fault of that person. If they had just been a little more humble and not so scary, then maybe they wouldn't have been killed. We keep hearing that over and over and over again. A woman that we got a horrific situation here. Woman, the woman that called 911, the police came and shot her to death. It was crazy. It's all over the news. So horrific. People are angry once again. And we keep seeing these things happen. And where are the voices of the good people who should be saying, this is not God's way? We are made in God's image. God's way is only love and working for the well-being of all. And so this is what we want to address, because the people who claim to represent higher spiritual consciousness in terms of their religion are justifying the cruelty that we're seeing in the Sudan, in Gaza,
the Congo,
the Congo, and so many of the religious community is favoring one side over the other, instead of saying all of it is wrong, all of it needs to cease. And like you said, Brother Kareem, you can't even say the words ceasefire in the media sometimes without getting censored. So we
lose your job.
That's right. So we of the free press, we have to speak up, and we have to.
That's why God. Look, that's why God has raised a woman like you. You are doing the right thing. We need more people like you to give platforms to people.
All people.
All people, irrespective of their beliefs, as long as their heart is right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we thank God for you.
We thank God for you, because all of you don't make this possible. We got to take one last break, and we got another powerful sister on the line that's going to be joining us, Sister Karima Muhammad, who is using her skill as an artist to put out a message. And sometimes it's through our artists that we are able to actually touch hearts. So we're going to take our last break and come on back, and I'm going to bring in the sound of our sister Karima Muhammad, and we're going to remind you all to go on Amazon.
It's a beautiful book.
Yes, Deception.
Be there.
Threat to Democracy. We want you to be at this event August 11th. And we're going to hear more from our brother Lionel. We're going to see if we can get that audio working. We need to amplify your voice, brother. And so if you can raise the volume on your phone as much as possible, we'll see and get your response. And we will be right back after this brief break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back and hear from our dear sister, Karima Muhammad. So stay with us.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating, empowering, interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you.
Nixon. We do want to hear from you. And we thank you so much for being with us. I'm Naima Latif, along with our co-host, Kareem Hamid. And we are excited because we have people who have solutions. And I believe we've got Lionel on our live line so we can hear his voice. And before we bring him on, I want to bring on a sister who is using the power of her creativity to bring a message to the people of this nation and this world, and particularly to our youth who too often are misled into self-destructive behaviors. Let me welcome to the show my dear sister Karima Muhammad.
Wa alaikum peace be to the whole family out there. May Allah bless us all. I just want to say I thank God for letting me get up today, for letting me live. I'm here along with you all. I have been devastated for years and years over what's happening in the world. And I heard a man, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, stop the killing. And I went to him after God put the thought in my mind to do the song and told him that I did the words, stop the killing and spare your mama feeling. Because you can't replace the living. And he started walking toward me, give it to me, give it to me. The security running to me, thinking as though, I guess I took his watch or ring or something, I don't know, but I told him, I said, sir, I wrote this song, but I haven't got the music. He told me, go get it, go get it. And I said, on my way to Augusta, Georgia, to James, and now, and we're going to do this song. I'm Karima Muhammad, but I'm also known as Fanny Brown, the goddess of soul. I traveled on the road with my brother James Brown since I was a teenager. And I've been blessed to see a lot of the world behind following him and Minister Louis Farrakhan. I just want to tip the bud of what I'm going to bring out to the world. It's between 22 and 28 of them that myself and the JVs have did, but they're all messages for our children. And with God's mercy and permission, I'm going to let you all hear a little tip of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See like this. That's one of them. I did a stop the killing spree because that's what's happening in the world right now. There's so much killing going on, so we can't get away from it. Here's one. We can have this. We have all but the heart is great. There's no respect for God. The disrespect turn the word God. Easy to call you. And wait, if you turn it around, you want to be called. Well, if you don't think what does that your book, please. Oh, that's one in a few. I'm just trying to put the word out so we will understand that we've gone crazy.
Yes. Ah, yes.
They want to keep on living. You brought the gun and blew them away.
Ooh. Wow. Wow. Well, sister, tell us where people can. Do you have that where people are able to go, say, on YouTube, download it, or you basically performing it in concert in different locations? How will they get access to this very powerful message?
It is so many of them. I thank you for asking the question. I have a website that's coming up right now, and I'm also going to put in something with you all so you all will be able to help us distribute them.
We'll make that happen, yes.
The songs were made in 1994. I have a Million Man March song, 2 Million Strong, asking the brothers what went wrong. He told God they were responsible. And now he's bringing violence to them. And the powers that be left us all alone. They turned away all that came to help save us and left us to die. We're dying out here. They're killing our babies. And now women are not even safe where police can walk in your house just trying to help you. We're supposed to help you to shoot you in your face and kill you. Yes. I mean, we have no respect for mom. We have no respect for each other. The violence, the words, everything that they taught us has been backwards from the way they by putting men on earth to live. So with God's permission, they will be out this coming week. I'm praying that you all on the Female Solution. I'm going down to Bobby Brown's sister. She just released a book on Whitney.
Wow.
Bobby Christine and Bobby Brown Jr., the death of her family.
Wow.
And she wants us to do something for that in Atlanta next week. I just come out of surgery and I'm recouping.
Oh, wow.
From the brain five of my river brains back up so to stand back straight. Yes. And I'm thanking God. So as he blessed me and he told me to come home, put this music out. So I've called around. I'm calling people to tell them that I'm ready to put it out. I'm setting up my web page, and I'm going to have you set up a web page for Female Solutions because with whatever donations can come in to also help you all, I'm willing to do that. It's too much we have to do to save the world. Yes. And I'm not going to save no one population because now with these guns everywhere. And they try to block guts and all of that, it's crazy. And I have stopped the killing in every level and degree of what has happened on this whole planet in the last 40 or 50 degrees of years. So I'm thanking God. I'm thanking him for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to stop the killing since 1988. And as he taught it, I took it all and put it into words and the music. So that's why you hear him say, stop the violence, because stop the killing has been done by God's and the JB, the original JB. A lot of them are not here to see this. Lynn Collins is not here anymore. She died in 01, and you hear her screaming in the background. That's her voice, Martha High voice. A lot of more James Brown singers. Sinclair Pitney is not here anymore. He's the Godfather Soul. And please, I'm done. The Bird is not here anymore. A lot of the babies have passed away. But they could die because the music that James made, and now God has blessed me to be able to take what James told me. Right. I thank God. Yeah. They got to get this out of my head. And with God's permission, as I'm slowly healing and thanking him for letting me live, for holding the doctor's hand, and letting me be here to see another year. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. And I'm going to try to put it out where everybody that can and that can help our people and that are doing things can help. I have a youth center and the God Sister Soul and also the Eastside Youth Program. I'm back here in Joliet. God told me to go home. So I'm back out here. I'm looking for a place to live. I haven't found a house yet. But I'm looking. And as I'm looking, I also want to rebuild my house called 5 years ago. Yeah. But it's a lot in my life right now. And I'm joining back on with the world to try to save the world. With God's permission. Yeah. So I'll be in touch. I'm going to keep in touch. As my head sometimes hurts a little bit and my neck hurts a lot off and on. But I'm healing. Slowly but surely, I'm thanking God. prayed to him this morning, got on the phone and called this number first. And he blessed me for the sister to tell me to call in after I called her. So it's time, and nothing can stop time when it's God's time and he's ready. So all to stop the killing, that please put down the guns and throw the flame doing, drop it on them. The DA Smart. I mean, I can just start naming people that's on these records that we have did and that been sitting in BMI. They say 22 to 28 stop the killings and put down guns that I have. But I know I have the Million Man March, 2 million lions, 2 million locked in, real lions. Went to Washington, D.C. I was there myself, a minister of God. And I was there to bear witness that the Bible, Revelation, said that we would all bow down, Revelation 7 chapter. We would all, as the 4 angels come down and hold back the wind, the water, the sun, the air, don't let nothing move that day until they have all been sealed in their hands and their forehead. And we all prayed to God at one time. And we were all doing with on the white line, at the White House. It was up the white monument. And on my record, 2 million lions. What went wrong? 20-something years ago, you said no bird was up.
Wow.
2000, and we coming into 25. God is bringing violent storms. The powers that be left us all alone. Black brothers and black sisters, what's wrong? Yes, they tricked us with the drugs. They put all this stuff. We are here now in 20, coming into 25. He is here with us. All we have to do is pray that he open our hearts and minds so that we can come to serve him and understand there's only one creator. He created everything we see, that we hear, that we do, that we think. Revelation 7 is where the Million Man March is laid in the Bible. And it's in other books.
Wow.
What's happening to us right now is Revelation 17 and 18. Come out of her, my people. If you be not contagious of her sins, because her blood is stained with the blood of all Indians and black people that they kill, and they still dig, and they still find them in the grave. When are we going to wake up and realize no one is going to help us if we do not stand as a people? And I don't care if you don't have nothing but your labor. Come in and help. All of us is want to help us get us this condition.
Absolutely.
Because we see all down to the time we don't have no help, but God is messenger. And I please, my sisters and brothers, wake up and hear the call. My website will be the God Sister Soul.
The God Sister Soul.
Sister Karima. Yes.
Yes. Right now. And it'll probably have K. Muhammad in front of it. I don't know exactly how we're going to do it, but we'll make it now.
We will certainly talk about that.
We do one also. So I'm going to be quiet and let you talk, because I can come out of it.
Well, thank you for sharing your creative works. And Brother Kareem Hamid, our co-host, has a thought for you. Go right ahead, brother.
Yes. First off, we're grateful for your valuable contribution toward human liberation. There is a historical piece of music that your brother composed and produced. You know, the son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Imam Wahiduddin Muhammad, was at a concert where your brother was performing. And he said he had never seen a better performer than him, and was asked, could he go backstage to speak with him? He was allowed to. And he said to Brother James, I want to thank you for your recording, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Imam Muhammad said that James Brown looked at him puzzled and says, brother, it is your father. It is your father that inspired me to record that song.
Wow.
And that changed the direction, that gave us a sense of dignity, of not being ashamed of our skin color. That was a very historical, monumental recording that our beloved brother James recorded, and we pray that what you have recorded will also have the same effect on stop the violence, stop the suicide.
I want to say this since you brought James up. 5 months before James died, we were in Houston, Texas, doing a concert. And when it was over, he and I was sitting in the dressing room, and I asked him, James, what made you do? I'm blessed and I'm proud. And he started laughing, and he said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said he inspired a lot of us. He said, Sonny? I said, yeah. I knew that. Small. But as he explained it to me, it even grew my heart fonder because I was in the Nation of Islam then. I went into the Nation of Islam when I was 35 years old with God's mercy. He sent me, and I begged him, God, that man is telling the truth on TV. I heard him. And then I begged God to let me help this man. Just let me help this man. I didn't put a name, but God knew my heart and my mind. And I went in and I started helping. So what I wanted to say to everybody in the radio land in the early 60s, as I was coming into being a teenager, James wasn't the only one that God inspired. 9/11 of what the Muslims believe in one. Aretha Franklin saying that you must respect and protect the black woman.
That's right.
Well, all she wants is just a little respect. Just a little bit. Marvin Gaye and different other brothers came out with, tell me what's going on. Somebody tell me what's going on. Another one came up.
Staple Sisters, respect yourself.
Everybody, let's join hands and make a stand. Another group came out. We'll win up and never let anybody say that we
impressive.
Because other people minds are in our feet. No more tears will we cry. We're gonna finally dry. We're gonna move it on up.
Lord, I'm
is the 60s with their pills, they drugs, slip and paint, sniffing glue, environment fluid, crap. But let me tell you something. God is on the scene today. We cannot be stopped. We are a solid wall if we get up and call on Allah. Your own arm, your own leg, your own leg, your own arm, and your head. It doesn't matter which side of your body you start on. If you reach out your parts, arm, leg, arm, and head, go back the other way. Just stand Allah, the Creator that made you. You're praising God every time you think, every time you move. God is here. He's in all of us, and we need to all get up and make a stand.
And we can do that.
And we can stand with the Creator.
We can definitely do that.
It's no more. We need to because we can't replace the living. Our children want to be living. And now this war has come against the mother. It's a war against us when they can come into a black woman's house and kill a black woman for no reason.
Well, that's why, and that's why, sister.
It's the mother of civilization. And my son, God, if it wasn't for him making the female, it could not be any more males or females. I wrote that record over 20 years ago.
Wow.
And now it's time for me to bring it out.
Time to bring it out, sister.
A little bit later.
But you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do, sister? We're going to make sure that we have links to your music on our Female Solution website so that people can have access to it. And before we go, I want to hear from Lionel Nixon, who's been analyzing this whole political thing. And sister, one of the reasons why it's so important for our spiritual leaders to speak is so they can inspire our artists like yourself who can translate that message and touch the hearts. So Brother Lionel Nixon, who's on our live line and has been looking deeply into how we've been manipulated into not seeing the power that we have to make these changes. Brother Lionel, give us a little bit of insight on how you see this situation, what we need to do to take back our power.
Okay, listen, we're going to have to do this again.
Oh, for sure.
Some research.
Yes.
I can't really give it out to you, but I'm going to give you a tidbit. And I want to ask people to join me if you want to have a conversation with me, I'm going to be at the Quarry Event Center this Friday, July 26th at 6 o'clock for listening to Roger Harris T. And I can maybe talk to some people there. On Saturday, I'm going to be at the Ghanaian Fest with Chief Nomo. You can find out more about that by calling 312-284-8257. Now, when we were in slavery, okay. I'm on here. 312-284-8257. Chief Novo, today and Chief. You can get all the information about that. Okay, let me go into this deep dive in 2 minutes. All right. First of all, as a Black American, I have many friends of all different persuasions, white, African, Mexican, etc. But Black Americans, y'all pay attention to what's happening right in front of you. When we were in slavery, as we moved out of slavery, so-called, into Reconstruction, moved out Reconstruction into Deconstruction, in the white supremacy groups, they set up the Ku Klux Klan and sent the carpetbaggers down to the South. Now, people think that the Civil War was fought over free and slaves. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Civil War was fought between the North, who was developing an industrial-based economy, and the South, that had an
agricultural-based economy. Right.
Now, moving forward, as we move through that, Blacks came up, got those jobs in the factories, and moving all the way up into the 1920s, we had the first real depression in America in 1914. Moving further on, what happened was, as we began to come in these cities and take population, there was something called spatial deconcentration, which is found in the 16th chapter of the Kerner Commission report of 1967. And that was basically, to make a long story short, a method to spread the Black population out. Now, fast forward right this moment, let me tell you about the illegal migration. It's a worldwide concept, but as far as we in America, here's the political implementation. While I'm not surprised that I had technical difficulties, because this is the issue that they are afraid of to talk about. Very simply put, migrants come in, and 80%, I've done it by precinct, I've done it by zip code, I've done it by census tract. 80% of the migrants are put in Black communities. So what does that mean? In 2030, they have redistricting. They redo the ward, state reps, state senate, and Congress. When they put these people in the census data, it dilutes our population. And when they draw the line, the first congressional district was 97% in 1980 when I worked for Hill, Washington. It went from 103rd, 22nd from the left to west. Now, there was 97% Black. Now it's 60% or less. And it stretches all the way out to Joliet.
Well, Lionel,
by them doing this, it dilutes our proportionate political representation. And now, when you got a driver's license, you had to produce a birth certificate and some proof. They're giving them driver's license. So if you got a driver's license, you go to. They don't know you can go down to the city and register to vote.
Yes.
So this is something we got to stop this line. I got on several WV shows several months ago, told them that this was a threat to national security, told them that they should hold the people in Mexico and give Mexico a bunch of money to preserve them there. There's no telling who has come in here and what they have brought into America. There's diseases that are affecting our children. So I could go on and on.
Well, you know what, Lionel? Because next week we're gonna be getting ready for. Well, of course, there's the National Association of Black Journalists Convention that's coming up, launching next week, and then right after that, yes, And so we'll hear basically how this is going to affect the politics coming up with the population that's voting and the political views that they have, and all of this affecting our democracy, what we talked about earlier, and even the fears that people have that they're going to have their rights taken away if another population comes in and controls where they live. So I want you to come back tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next week, next Wednesday. We're going to have some people that are addressing the ceasing of violence and the working toward interrupting the conflict between many of these street organizations.
All that kind of stuff.
And we'll talk about that next week.
If you want to talk with me, meet me at the Quarry Event Center, 2423 East 75th Street. We're going to have a wonderful dinner. You can find out, listen to some wonderful music.
Absolutely.
So we'll this opportunity, because I know you got to close out. But just remember this. Pay attention, Black Americans, to what's happening to you right in front of your face in America.
Pay attention. Absolutely. So we'll look for you at the Quarry. And, of course, that's owned by our dear sister, Yvette Moyo, another powerful voice of the free press. And she is a great businesswoman and has done some wonderful things. We've got to go now, but we are looking forward to you all coming back again tomorrow. Join us for Veggie Brunch Live, where our sister is helping us to take control of our health and well-being by making the right choices so that we can stay in this body that we're wearing and do the good work that we're here to do. And before we go, I know we've got a couple of calls. Yes. And give us that address again. And
2423 East 75th Street
in Chicago.
Event Center.
And that's in Chicago, because we
Illinois.
got folks that's mother state, so they don't know where that is in Chicago. Yes.
And
we thank you so much.
6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Come there. You can go on Facebook and find out what your tickets are. And it's going to be great. A wonderful dinner and great entertainment.
And that's Friday or Saturday? Friday?
This Friday, July 26th, 2423 East 75th Street at 6 p.m.
Hey, maybe I need to have Sister Karima come and perform on her song, Set the Tone. Yeah, we need to work that out.
Now, but I'm not surprised we had technical difficulties, because I found out it's better to be feared than liked sometimes, these politicians. All right, I'm going. May God bless us all.
May God bless us. Yes, and we thank you so much for bringing your wisdom.
Brother Lionel Nixon called Brother Plump. Hope y'all. I will do that, brother.
Absolutely. That's right. We're going to organize our artists to put out the message.
And you'll get my number.
Yes,
Plump Facebook.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. And one last thing before we go, Brother Kareem, give us the information about your upcoming show so we can tune in.
Yes, Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I shall highlight the conflict in Sudan. There is the greatest number of displaced human beings ever occurred on this earth, and a genocide is occurring in Sudan. We are grateful to share that information. Mainstream media is ignoring it, but we cannot ignore that. And may we remain God conscious at all times. Thank you.
May we remain God conscious. Well, we certainly thank you for adding to that consciousness. And of course, you can go to our daily news, on air daily news, to get some of the insights of some of what has happened and people who are organizing to make a difference at onair.dailynews.com. Thank you all so much for being a part of this powerful presentation of information. Thanks to those who have listened in, called in, and commented, and written in and commented. And we appreciate having you come on back for another day and another session of enlightenment on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naim Latif, and thank you to my co-host, Kareem Hamid, and to all of our guests. And we will see you again tomorrow. Until that time, continue to shine your light.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.